Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Must Know Go. So in this video we're going to be taking a look at some 3-4 Joseki. The 3-4 stone has a very long history. If you go back and look at games from the 1800s and earlier, you're going to see this move being played almost exclusively. And even today, this move is still very commonly played by professionals. You're going to see this in amateur games as well. It's one of the most common opening moves in the entire game. So, as I mentioned in the video on opening moves, there are 3 common moves that you can use to approach the 3-4 stone. In this video, we're going to be looking at 1 high approach Joseki and 1 low approach Joseki. So, first, let's take a look at this low approach move at A. This move sort of aims to take the corner, but mostly it's denying black the ability to develop on this side of the board, or at least attempting to. This move is also the most common approach to the 3-4 stone, and because it has such a long history, the Joseki resulting from this move are extensive, valid replies. These are just some of the more common ones. So while there are a ton of possible moves that you can play resulting from this, probably the most common ones are the high 2-space pincer, the diagonal, and tanuki, playing away. As I mentioned in the previous Must Know Go video, playing away can be a very effective move, and so if you feel that something else on the board is more important, know that tanuki is definitely an option here. It's been explained to me before that these 2 stones are pretty much in balance. Neither of them has more control over the corner, and neither of them is threatening to take away the side that the other one wants to build toward. So playing away is perfectly acceptable. For this video, it took me a while to think of which Joseki I wanted to show. The Joseki resulting from this can get fairly complicated, and a lot of them are either considered outdated today, or they've just simply fallen out of favor. But I want to keep things simple, so in the interest of keeping things simple, I'm going to be showing a Joseki resulting from the diagonal. This move was made famous by a Japanese Go player named Shu Saku, and so it is often referred to as the Shu Saku Diagonal. This move, there's really nothing you can say against it, except that it's possibly a little slow. It's a very solid move. There's no way that white can counterattack black's group here. However, white also doesn't really need to respond to this. If white wants to, white can play away. That said, if white does play away, black will get an even better result in this area. But if white does not want to play away, then the move for white to play here is this 3-space extension, low. Now, in general, from 1 stone, you want to make a 2-stone jump, and you would think that you would want to play at A. However, playing at A is possibly a mistake. So if white plays here, black can kick like this, and then white will want to stand up. And now, as a result of this kick and standing up, white stone here is too close, and this is a little bit too cramped. By playing 1 further away, white makes this kick a bad move by black. However, if black does still want the corner, there is a move that black can play to get the corner that's better than this kick. And the move is a little bit surprising, but it results in a sacrifice that gets black the corner and good influence toward the right-hand side of the board. At the same time, it also helps white to settle the group. So if the black player knows that they want the corner and this side, and is okay with white's group becoming settled, then this is a perfectly fine way to play. So, black plays here, splitting the white group apart. Now, there's a general principle here of when your opponent has multiple groups, you want to lean on the stronger group to attack the weaker one. So this diagonal here is very strong, and white would like to be able to counterattack this 1 stone to settle the group here. So white plays here. This attachment threatens to hane around here, and since black wants to develop toward this side of the board, black should then hane here. And that makes this hane not a good move, because there will be an Atari here at p16. So, white will play here. The reason white is using this move instead of just connecting directly is that this move opens up more possibilities for play later, and it also hurts the stone that white is trying to attack a lot more than just a plain connection would. Now, for black, the whole point of this move was to make a sacrifice in order to win the corner. So now black is going to play this kick here. This move threatens to directly connect under. There's no way if black gets this move that white can stop the connection, and then white's group would have no base. White could make a bamboo joint here, but that's a little bit slow. So instead, white will descend here, taking away the move that black wants to make. This also undercuts black's corner. Now, black has this cut here that would prevent black from developing toward this side of the board. And so in order to defend the cut, black makes this hanging connection here. And this shape might look a little bit weird, but there's really no weakness in it. If white pokes here, black can just connect. If white takes away the corner, black still has plenty of room over on the side to have a base. There's really no way to counterattack what black has made here directly. You'd need other moves in order to mount some kind of an attack against this. However, white's group still does have a weakness. This black stone is not yet dead and could escape by playing a move at like M16. So white will take away that move, and this move effectively kills the N17 stone. There's still a little bit of Aji left behind. Black could still maybe do something with this, but there's no way that black can directly save this stone. And then from here, black can play away. If black wants further development on this side, black could consider a move somewhere in the R10, R9 region. Later on, the Q18 move is really big to win the corner. However, black doesn't have to play anything here. So this is the end of the Joseki. Alright, so let's take a look at this. Black plays a 3-4 stone. The point of this stone is to possibly take the corner and possibly have influence toward the right-hand side of the board. So white approaches low. The purpose of this move is to take influence toward the side of the board that black did not want, and possibly to take away the corner from black. Black then plays this diagonal to stay solid, to make sure that white cannot counterattack the stone, to help developing toward the right-hand side of the board. White plays a 3-space jump to help their stones, not playing closer because then black could get this kick easily. And black decides that they would like to have both the corner and development toward the right-hand side of the board in exchange for allowing white to become solid here. So black throws a stone in. White attaches to the stronger stones, planning to counterattack the weaker stone. Black plays a hane, hoping to develop toward the right-hand side of the board. White defends in such a way that it also hurts the N17 stone. Black plays a kick, threatening to save the N17 stone and to help him gain the corner. White descends to prevent the connection and also to undercut the corner. Black fixes the last remaining weakness with a hanging connection to prevent the cut at Q14. And white kills off the black stone. As a result, black mostly has the corner and has plenty of influence toward the right-hand side of the board. White has killed the N17 stone and has a very settled group. And so this result is equal for both sides. Later on, black getting a move at Q18 is very large. So that was the first 3-4 Joseki, showing a low approach. The next Joseki I want to show you guys is one that's far more common nowadays. It's probably the most common 3-4 Joseki that there is. And it's a very important one to know, and it results from the high approach. The purpose of the high approach is not only to challenge the 3-4 stone in the corner and take away potential on the top side of the board, but also it threatens to possibly gain influence toward the right-hand side of the board. However, its weakness is that it does not threaten to take away the corner, really, from black. And black can take advantage of this and win a fairly large corner in Sente by playing this attachment at P17. So this attachment threatens to severely hurt the white stone, and in general, when your opponent attaches to your stone, you want to respond to that, and that's especially true in Joseki, because if white were to ignore this move, the results would be catastrophic in this corner. So white will play this hane. This move threatens a very harsh Atari against the P17 stone that would completely cut it off from the corner. And there's a couple different ways to defend this, but by far the most common is simply play q17 directly. With this, black is completely connected and has won a decent-sized corner. It also exposes the cut here at o16. And there are a couple of different ways that white can defend this, but the most common is simply to connect solidly. This move also exposes a potential problem for black. If black were to play away from here, white could play an attachment at r15 that would seal black into the corner. So black will play this 1-point jump. This gets black out on the right-hand side. In addition, it also expands black's corner. Now, white's 3 stones are looking a little bit lost, so white wants to play another move to settle them, and from a 2-stone wall, you want to jump 3. So white will play here, possibly high, depending on the situation, and white will have a base on this side, and black is free to play elsewhere. So going back to this point, if black plays away, so if black does play away here, white can then play this attachment move, and this will seal black into the corner. The best that black can hope for is to play this move here. White will then poke at the 4-4 point. This move threatens to win the corner, so black will need to defend. White will come over one more, threatening this turn, and because the turn would be sente, black comes one more, and then white extends again. And this then effectively seals black into the corner. This is not a good result for black, so you should only play away from this position as black if something is very, very important, which is why instead black will play some kind of a jump. So, let's take a look at this again. Black plays a 3-4 stone, hoping to win the corner or gain influence toward the right-hand side. White approaches high. This is currently the more popular approach. It takes away potential on the top for black, and also potentially aims at removing some of the influence black would have toward the right-hand side of the board. However, it does not as strongly lay any claim to the corner. So for black to win a decent-sized corner, black can attach here. White defends with this hane, and black pulls back solidly. White then defends the cut solidly. Black plays a 1-point jump to prevent being sealed into the corner, and then white makes a base here, a 3-space low, or possibly a 3-space high. So I do want to show one other variation from this Joseki. It starts out the same, black plays an attachment, white hanes, and black pulls back, but if black has a stone over in this corner, especially a stone like a 4-4 stone or a 5-4 stone that is aiming to possibly win the top side of the board, white can play a little bit faster to deny black influence on the top. And the move is here. This move is a little bit looser. It has a couple of weaknesses, but it still aims at the same weakness at R15. So black does still want to respond. And now, instead of coming to K17 or 16, white comes to J17. You can come out one farther because this stone is closer to this one. There are some potential weaknesses here that are left behind by this only being a hanging connection and not a solid connection. But if black would have influence toward the top side of the board, this playing faster like this can be an effective way to disrupt that. Now, black will tanuki from this position most likely, but later on, if white has time, white can play this move here to help shore up weaknesses in this area, and this is probably the fastest move you can play to fix any potential weaknesses in this area. For black, moves to aim at would be moves in this region. C and B are much more effective if black has a stone at G17, and these moves all threaten to split white in half. But in spite of these weaknesses, this can be an effective way to play if black would otherwise get a lot of influence on the top side of the board. Additionally, there's one other variation I want to look at, and that is resulting from here. Black plays like this, and then white connects either solidly or hanging. It actually doesn't make much of a difference, but this is if black has potential on the right-hand side of the board. And this move here at R14 would look a little bit low. There's a way you can play to gain plenty of influence toward the right-hand side of the board without leaving weaknesses, and that's here. at Q15. This high move looks a little bit slow, but it actually gives black a lot more potential toward the right-hand side of the board because it's a high move. Actually, it's the same move as the diagonal that we looked at earlier. After this move, the move for white is the same. White can play low or high over here, 3-space jump. This move doesn't really hurt white any more than the other move does. All it does is give black more potential toward the right-hand side of the board. However, if black doesn't have any potential on this side of the board, it's better to play low because otherwise white can play moves in the R13 region, and that effectively undercuts black on the outside of the corner. So, those are a couple of variations to this Joseki. Otherwise, this is by far the most common 3-4 Joseki. You'll see this played in professional games, and if you play enough amateur Go, you will see this played. However, I hope that I've helped to explain why each of these moves is played, and why this variation is so common. It's a good way of dealing with a high approach because it takes advantage of the one thing that the high approach is lacking, and that's any good way of winning the corner. So as black, you simply take advantage of that by winning the corner for yourself. And this is something nice about the 3-4 Joseki that we looked at. In both situations here and here, both players are effectively getting what they want. Whether white approaches low or high, what white is mostly aiming for is to gain something on the top side of the board. And when black plays the initial 3-4 stone, black is wanting to gain the corner and influence toward the side. And for both of these Josekis, both players are getting exactly what they want, leading to peaceful results for both sides. There are situations where, because of changes in the game or because of some other strategy, you don't want these things, where black might not want the corner anymore in a 3-4 Joseki, or where white might be playing a high move with the hopes of disrupting the right-hand side, and white doesn't really care about the top. However, those Joseki oftentimes break out into fights. So when it comes to simple Joseki, these two are probably some of the most simple ones that you're going to find. And as I said at the start of the video, the 3-4 has been played for a very long time. This is the most common opening move historically, and as a result, there are so many Joseki resulting from this that there's no way I could make a video showing just a couple that truly digs into the nuances of each move. So I wanted to show a couple of basic ones. I do plan on making another video later on showing more 3-4 Joseki and going into more detail about why pincers are played, or why black plays away and then how white can respond to that. Discussing things like why this move at C would be played instead of A or B, and other ways that black can respond to the approach moves. So, to end things off, let's take a look one more time at each of these two Joseki, and the variations resulting from the high approach. First, the low approach. Black has several options, but the most solid and simplest one is to play the diagonal here at B. As a result of this move, black is aiming to take influence toward the right-hand side of the board while helping the cornerstone. White can choose to play away, but if white wants to play a move to help the P17 stone, white can play this 3-point jump. Not the 2-space jump, because then black can simply play at Q17. The move there would then put white into a position where white's a little cramped. However, because black still wants to win the corner and gain influence toward the side, black can choose to play this sacrifice move. White then leans on the stronger stones to attack the weaker one. Black plays this Hane, threatening to cut through white's shape, and so white defends in such a way that it also hurts the N17 stone. Black then threatens to save the N17 stone again with this kick, and white descends here to prevent black from connecting, but also to undercut black's corner. Black then fixes, and this move also gives black plenty of potential toward the right-hand side of the board. And finally, white plays here to kill off the black stone and to solidify this group. Black has gotten most of the corner and plenty of potential toward the right. White has gotten a solid and settled group. The other Joseki we looked at results from the high approach. Black plays this move here. This move aims to win the corner and takes advantage of the fact that white's move does not lay a claim to the corner. White plays this Hane on the outside, defending the stone while also threatening a counterattack against black. Black defends here solidly, making sure to win the corner. White then defends this potential cut here. If black has potential toward the right-hand side at A or somewhere in that area, black can play a high move here, But normally, black will play low. This move expands the corner while also preventing the R15 attachment that would lock black in. And white will then play some 3-space move over here to make a base. Alternatively, if black has some sort of move in this corner that would make influence on the top side valuable for black, white can play a hanging connection here. Black then has the same choice of either a diagonal or 1-space jump. And then white can jump to J17. This move, while leaving some extra weaknesses, helps to limit any potential that black could have on the top side of the board. So, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that you found my explanation of these Joseki to be helpful, that you'll find times to use these in your game, and do not be surprised if your opponent deviates, especially when it comes to 3-4 Joseki. If your opponent plays a different move, do not assume that there is a punishment. Instead, take it as a learning opportunity, because you might be learning yet another Joseki. There are so many Joseki resulting from this that there's no way that any 2 Joseki I picked could give you a comprehensive look. And so, please stay tuned in the future for my other must-know-go videos, where I will be looking at the other opening moves, and a couple of Joseki resulting from those, and then also other videos that I plan on making about 3-4 Joseki that go even more in-depth on this very interesting and historically popular move. My name is Youngblade, and I hope that you all will have a wonderful day.